Historically, one of the most merciless and savage monarchs was Henry VIII. He is often primarily recognized for having 6 wives and executing 2 within the confines of the Tower of London. However, it is less commonly acknowledged that approximately 70,000 individuals were executed during his 40-year reign, which constituted an estimated 3% of the population at that time. Approximately 1 in 30 individuals perished on structures like gallows scaffolds or public beheading sites. The range of offences punishable by death fluctuated in the Tudor period. However, Henry VIII modified several laws to guarantee the imposition of the most severe penalties on convicted criminals. However, it is less often recognized that during the final year of Henry VIII's reign and life, a young girl of 11 years was executed in a little town in Shropshire. The narrative and legacy of Alice Glaston evoke feelings of horror and dread. Nevertheless, what motivated Henry VIII to execute an 11-year-old girl? Atrociously, England had numerous instances where children, at a young age, were executed for offences during the era known as the Bloody Code. The number of offences punishable by death was augmented during the Tudor period. But still, King Henry had 2 individuals that were boiled alive for purportedly committing poisoning. It was during this era that structures such as Traitor's Gate at the Tower of London acquired their notorious monikers and reputations, and heads were frequently displayed atop London Bridge. Throughout history, even the most renowned figures were subjected to such brutal treatment. Among them was a boy named John Dean, who was condemned to death at the age of 9. Additionally, the tale of Alice Glaston is undeniably horrific, as she is recognized as the youngest girl executed for a crime in English history. The destiny of Alice Glaston transpired in Shropshire, a county situated near Wales. In the annals of the small market town of Much Wenlock, it is documented that Alice Glaston was executed by hanging in the presence of an assembled throng. However, the reasons for her death sentence remain unclear. The parish records and register, maintained by the Vicar of Wenlock, document that in 1545, John Dodd of Little Wilcock was buried after being hung, together with Alice Glaston, aged 11, and William Harper, a tailor, both from the same parish. The documents do not specify the crimes or the reasons for their execution. However, their offences may be interconnected. Much Wenlock, as a town, was a relatively tiny hamlet, and executions were infrequent, so the simultaneous occurrence of 3 executions may indicate a connection between the crimes. An executioner from a larger town may have come to perform the executions and serve as the hangman. However, it is highly likely that Alice Glaston, the 11-year-old girl, was tried at the Willet Guildhall. Alice could have been incarcerated in a prison, but let us examine the offences for which she might have faced execution. She must have been implicated in either murder or treason. These 3 transgressions typically warranted the death punishment irrespective of age, and arson, the gravest crime against property, was addressed with severity. Alice Glaston was executed by hanging on the gallows, which was the customary punishment for women sentenced to death. While burning at the stake was typically reserved for offences such as witchcraft or heresy, it suggests that Alice was likely not condemned for these crimes. Conversely, lesser offences like theft were often punished with imprisonment, public branding, whipping, or confinement in stocks or a pillory, indicating that Alice's crime must have been of a grave nature. No other accounts exist of youths participating in the crimes of Alice Glaston, indicating that she was solely convicted and sentenced to death. It is possible that she was condemned for witchcraft and underwent some form of trial that resulted in her death sentence. Numerous individuals frequently faced accusations of witchcraft, a grave offense, compelling these ladies to defend themselves before men in a highly antagonistic setting, with judges determining their destinies. Alice could have faced capital punishment for this, and she might not have been able to account for her offences, given her youth and the lack of opportunity to defend her reputation or herself. However, on April 13, 1546, within the realm of Henry VIII, in the town of Much Wenlock, an 11-year-old girl was taken to the gallows in the town, where a noose was placed around her neck. The executioner thereafter positioned her on a stool, which he then removed, leaving her behind. Hanging on the gallows, Alice Glaston's narrative and destiny were utterly horrifying, and within the realm of Henry VIII, such executions were deemed acceptable and legally sanctioned. This illustrates the brutality of Tudor society, which executed even children for seeing. Many of Henry's actions as king still resonate today. It could be said that in many ways Henry VIII made our modern world. The break with Rome, the Reformation, and the dissolution of the monasteries had profound and lasting effects. Henry VIII was a paradox, a strong ruler, yet an anxious, insecure man. Henry was a golden youth before a great series of losses and misadventures took their toll. Perhaps these go some way to explain his behavior and gradual decline. Despite the massive religious and social upheaval of the Reformation, it comes as a surprise to discover that Henry VIII remained conservative in his beliefs and died a Catholic. To help our channel, kindly subscribe.